Bonjour tout le monde! In today's video we're going to cover two questions that I was asked at school. One is going to be nice and quick and easy, the other one might get long. I've tried several times to answer it shortly and I've failed the past 5 times. And I think if I start writing and planning it's going to be worse because I'm going to write a dissertation. So, first question. Somebody asked, will you sponsor us when we do our bake sale for the Red Cross? I'm bringing that closer because there's a glare and I'm not sure that's glaring still. Oh well, never mind. So yes, I will sponsor you when you do your bake sale for the Red Cross. I love cakes. I love good causes. I love that you guys have so many fundraisers and you're still at school. We don't do that in France, or we didn't when I was at school. So I find that awesome. So let me know when it's happening and I'll sponsor you and I'll get some cake because I love eating if I haven't had to cook anything, and baking is even better. So that's the first question. That was the easy one. The hard question is, someone in year 9 asked me, which language should a year 9 pick for GCSE? And in our school that means, is it German or French? So this is really tricky. You may at the moment feel like either German or French is the better option to go to. You might feel German is the better option to pick because it's easier and because you're achieving better in German. And that would be like that's a deceiving impression you have, because in our school you started German in year 8 but you started French in year 7, so you've done French for longer. That's point 1, you've done French for longer, and you've also had more hours of French, all right? Which means that by now, the content you have in your French lessons is more complex than the content you have in your German lessons. So if you find German easier at the moment, don't let it convince you to do German GCSE thinking it's going to be easier than the French GCSE. They're both hard. Not like there isn't one language GCSE that's easier than the other. They all have the same content, they all have the same themes, they all have the same type of vocab and grammar, so that's the same, okay? Forget it. On the other hand, if you feel like German is going to let you down because you've done less of it, so you want to do French because you're like, I'm ahead in French, that's also irrelevant really. You're gonna basically catch up in German faster because it's a Germanic language, so it's similar to English. That's the reason why we could afford to start you on German later, because it is more similar to English than French is. So what we lost in time, you're making up for in similarity of patterns and words, okay? So don't let that stop you either from choosing German. You have one thing you might want to research if you haven't already done so, and that's basically your career path. If you have an idea of a career and a job you want, just look at that job and try and find out if in that job it's more beneficial to have German or French as a second language, and then go with that. So that's one way to do things. When I was your age, I didn't have any career path in mind, so I just was trying to keep my options open as much as possible. But you might already have it, like some of you already are very driven and know what you're going to do later, so in that case find out which language will be more useful for you. If that's not an option for you, then you want to try and pick the one that you like better. But I'm guessing if you're asking which one should I pick, it means you don't know which one you like better. You might think you like them both equally. I used to have the same problem for different subjects when I was in year 11. In France, in year 11, that's when you specialize for your A-levels. So for me, I was in a general section. So when we got to year 11, we had to choose between the maths and science path and the literature and language path. And I thought, I like both. I like all the academic subjects. I hate all the practical ones. That's a given. But I loved all the academic ones and I achieved in all of them as well. I was lucky, so obviously also hardworking. The harder I work, the luckier I get. Funny. But so I was like, I'm stuck. And then I thought, actually, I'm probably not stuck. I'm just not thinking about it the right way. And here is how I solved it and decided. I thought, right, what happens to my love for the subject if I don't get on with the teacher and if I don't get on with my class? Because that will happen. It's probably happened to you at some point. We don't get on well with everybody all the time. So there are teachers you will click with, there are teachers you want, there are classes you'll click with, classes you want, learning groups that you like, learning groups that you want. So I just thought, what about all of these times when my learning group really doesn't work for me and when I don't really click with the teacher that much? I never had a really conflictual relationship with any teacher, but there were some I just didn't, it didn't work. And when that happened in maths and science, those years I didn't like maths and science much. I still achieved, but I didn't really enjoy the process. While when I had a teacher or a class I didn't like in English, French, German, and Latin, I still really loved my subject. So that helped me figure out, actually, I love maths and science if the teacher is managing to convey some passion to me, but I love my languages and literature for the sake of languages and literature. And that's how I chose. Then I picked language and literature for my A level because I decided it's probably a safer option to pick something that you have a genuine passion and love for, regardless of the situation. Okay? The reason for that is your GCSEs will be challenging, all of them, not just languages. I think you might have figured by now that all teachers will say their subject is the hardest because, like, we're all biased, but probably objectively they're all difficult. But when it comes to your options, because you know they're going to be difficult, you want to pick an option that you'll be happy to, to sweat over and to just tear your hair over and to carry on working through challenges in. So that's why I would recommend you try and think in those terms. Between French and German, which language do you enjoy the most, regardless of the teacher, regardless of the learning group, regardless of the time of the day, regardless of the time of the year, regardless of the topic we're doing? Which language appeals to you the most for itself, not because you clicked with a person? And that should help you make a choice. Another option you have, if you're still stuck for choice despite having all of these tips, you could have a look. When I was, when was that? It was in 2012, I think, or 2013. I got offered a position on 2 different teacher trainings. One was in Somerset and one was in South Devon. And they were both, like, they both had excellent reputations. So I spent ages doing pros and cons, and I had like a nice, I actually did a spreadsheet on Excel with like pros and cons for each. And it was just equal. They came out, it was a tie. They both had the same amount of pros and cons with the same quality of pros and cons, and I was just stuck. Nothing helped me. And obviously I didn't have a reference like I did for my subjects at school. So I tossed a coin, and I figured, that's fine, because if they're both equally good, I can just leave it to chance. It's okay. So tossed a coin. But when it landed on the option stay in Somerset, which is where I was at the time. And I felt this little weight in my stomach. It kind of went, oh, no. And that's when I found out, actually, I thought it was all perfectly equal. But that gut reaction I had when the coin landed and it told me, stay where you are, and that's it. That gut reaction told me, that's not where you want to be. You want to move on. You just didn't know you wanted to move on, but you want to move on. And so I followed that gut reaction. And without that, I would probably not have met the person who recommended I apply for the job at my current school, so I wouldn't be here today. So it's a brilliant, brilliant decision. And that really helped me out. So if you've thought about the pros and cons, if you've researched the careers, if you like French and German both for their own sake, and you have to choose one, you can't do both because of the pathways you've chosen, maybe toss a coin. When it lands, hopefully you'll know how you feel deep down. Follow that gut feeling. I think it's better to get it wrong because you followed your gut feeling than because you followed lists at the end of the day. Okay? And the last thing I would like to say in this video is something I think Maya Angelou said, and I can't quote out to the word, but the idea is everybody is doing the best thing they can at every moment with what they know and what they feel. So Even if in 5 years' time you find out, oh damn, I chose German and I should have chosen French, or I chose French and I should have chosen German. There's no need to beat yourself up about it. All the decisions you make today, just make them to the best of your ability, to the best of your knowledge, and make them to be as true to yourself as you can be. And they will all in some way contribute to making you who you will be in the future. So that's all that matters at the end of the day. We can't ask you to be anyone else but you. And regardless of how things turn out, everything you do today will build the person you'll be tomorrow, and that will be an equally beautiful and worthy person as you are today. So don't put too much pressure on yourself, and don't feel like if you make the wrong GCSE choice, it's the end of the world. It won't be. It's just gonna put you on a different path, and you'll learn different things, and you'll still find a way forward, as we all do. So that's it for this video today. I don't think I'll ever manage to get it under 10 minutes because this is the 6th attempt, and so far that's the shortest, so I'll leave it there, and I might see you tomorrow for another video. Leave me comments below if you have any other questions you'd like answered. Those of you who wrote questions on paper, they will be answered as we go, but I won't do many in one day because, as you see, it's already super long. So yeah, comments down below, like if this was helpful to you. Good luck if you're choosing your options for GCSEs, and don't forget, there is no wrong choice when it comes to deciding to learn a language. You're right. Either way, just go for it, have fun with it, that's all that matters. And stay safe this weekend. It's supposed to be super windy this afternoon, wet and windy. Don't go and take risks. Be really careful out there, and take care. Bye.